My beloved family, how are you guys doing? This is Dr. Carmen Bryant, and of course, this is not Car Chronicles, but it is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Obviously, if you're getting this video, you know that I will not be on tonight. Y'all, I have been at conferences. I have been on the road all week, and conferences on Friday, on Saturday, and I'm just getting home. And for those of you that are Pacific Standard Time, it's almost 9 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Those of you that are, and you know I usually come on at 8:30 p.m. It's 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So for some of you guys, it's 10, 11, and 12 at night. So it's already really, really late. And of course, I'm tired. It was raining. So, you know, I didn't keep the curls in my hair. But I just wanted to come on just real quick because we had some conferences, some powerful conferences. And you guys know my sister. My sister is Bishop Kathy Gibson. And she did the essence of the aristocratic woman. And she did her first annual conference called Redeeming Your Pearls. Y'all, if you missed that, you can get I think you can go on Clubhouse under Apostle Helen Sadler. And listen to the last part of it where they did the talk show where you can hear them having a conversation. But listen, it was very powerful because it really talked about value and value. And that's what I wanted to come on just real quick before I turned in for tonight, is that you have to understand your value. I did a video on this before, but I just want to come back and say this again. You know, those of you that love jewelry, I love jewelry. I think jewelry is beautiful. I'm really not a pearl person. I never really have been a pearl person. But I'm going to tell you this story. And, you know, I understand that everybody is not a believer. For those of you that don't know, I am a believer of Jesus Christ. I'm a ministry. I am a ministry. I am a minister under Apostle Helen Sadler. And I am a minister in the church. And I was sharing my story with someone because I went to the conference in Hawaii last year for Apostle Sadler's conference. And I remember that for a while after, you know, my divorce from the narcissist, I would always pray. I said, you know, in my mind, I thought I had lost everything that was of value to me, that I thought was of value to me. You know, I had a home, my very first home. I lost that because of his irresponsibilities when it comes to finances, you know, so I let that home go. But before we let that home go, we bought another home, and it was just a little small home. It wasn't really anything compared to the last home. And the other home, it was okay. You know, it was okay. It was my very first home. So, you know, I think it was a 3 bedroom. Had a big room downstairs that we made into a bedroom, 2-car garage. I mean, it was my first home, so it was pretty big size and everything, you know. Then I went to an older home, bought an older home in my mind, thinking that, you know, this is just something that temporarily until he comes back. You know, he was in the military, but he never came back. When I say that, meaning in a marriage wise, you know, and I had to give up that home as well. I had to sell that home, and I moved into a small apartment. And so when I moved into a small apartment, you know, I began to throw everything away that ever had anything to do with us. Curtains, pillows, blankets, furniture, towels, pots, pans, anything. Threw away everything that we had together. The only thing we had together was a kid and a car. And the car, it was titled in my name. So I got it put back into my name. But I remember praying and I was like, man, you know, God, I've lost everything that I thought was of value to me. And I remember my mother telling me, you know, material things you can always replace. Your mind, you can't replace. Your health, you know, you have to get your health back up, because once you lose your health, you can't get that back either, you know. But she said, don't worry about that, because materialistic things, you can always get that back, you know. So, of course, lived in this apartment for about 6 years. And I remember praying, and I was like, God, I said, you know, I got a daughter. I have daughters and grandchildren now, but, you know, I got daughters that are looking at me to see what I'm going to do. And I have to set an example for them because I made some really bad decisions, you know. So whenever I say, look and see what role you played in this horrible situation, don't take it as, you know, the abuse has nothing to do with you. That is not your fault. You don't look at yourself like, what did I do to cause this abuse? No, that responsibility and that accountability is on the abuser. The role that we played in it, we, you know, probably went into the situation with a broken heart. We went into the situation ignorant. Ignorant just means you lack knowledge. You know, we didn't understand, especially we didn't understand narcissist abuse, you know. So we went into the situation ignorant. We went in there with holes in our hearts. We weren't whole. We weren't complete. We weren't healed. And so we were looking for, so a lot of us were looking for something that a human or a man or a woman cannot fulfill. Happiness is joy, something that you have to bring into the relationship with you. And then on top of that is it's got to be a two-sided relationship. It can't be a one-sided relationship. With a narcissist is always a one-sided relationship. But I remember I was praying and I was like, God, I said, man, I've lost everything that was of value to me. I had this beautiful, my grandmother gave me this. It was a cross with rubies. It was a ruby cross, beautiful ruby cross. And it was the old, German, those of you guys that are familiar with Germany and gold, but it was this beautiful German gold necklace. And they don't make them here. I've never seen them again. I don't know what they're called, but they don't make these particular chains, these type of necklaces. But it was a ruby cross. He snatched that off of my neck, threw that somewhere. I had a beautiful Olympus. I think it was an Olympus camera. My grandfather was a photographer. That was kind of a hobby. Beautiful pictures, and that camera took beautiful pictures. He let someone steal it out of my car. One of his friends stole it. Thieves hang together. Birds of a feather flock together. But let someone take that out of the car. I had gold bullions. My grandfather worked very hard. He used to work at a bank, and each one of his grandchildren, he made sure that each one of us had gold coins. You have to excuse us, the cat food. But my grandfather worked very hard, and he had a safe under his floorboards that when he died, each one of his grandchildren and his daughter, my mother, received gold bullions. So these gold bullions came up missing. He pawned my gold bullions, pawned it at a pawn shop, real gold coins from Germany. But he pawned my gold coins. This is from my grandfather. Anything that I ever had that was of value, he got rid of it. When I got out of the military and I retired, most of us that have served in the military and retired in the military, there are certain memories that you have. There's, because you sweat and pain and the price that we pay to be in the military. My very first crew boots, call them crew boots. My very first crew boots that I got when I came in the military, got rid of those. My very first Cochranes. You guys, those of you that don't know what Cochranes are, look up Cochranes. They're, I think they were paratrooper boots, but Cochranes, they had the heel and toe that shined. The Cochranes, the jump boots, I think they were jump boots. Threw those, my very first jump boots that I put special heels on it, threw those away. My very first, what were the other ones? I think those are jungle boots, my jungle boots. I had a pair of beige ones, I had a pair of black ones, threw those away. My uniforms, all my uniforms throw away except for the last one, which was the gray ones that they don't use anymore. I kept those and my PT uniform, but all the other ones, everything that was of value to me, I had when I used to be on the honor guard, the hat that I used to have, I threw all that away. The leather coat that my grandfather bought me when I was in Germany and I saw him for the last time, almost last time, 1994, he bought me a beautiful leather coat, like the fur on it, threw that away. So anything that was of value to me, memories from the military, all that, just threw all that away, all that gone, lost. So in my heart, I was thinking to myself, I was like, God, I said, everything that was of value to me, and I cried because I'm like, everything that was of value to me, everything I thought was of value to me, my coins, that I could have put away from my own children, my jewelry. I even had beautiful other jewelry that when I was young and I was in welfare, had food stamps and everything, I bought this beautiful gold chain that I had on layaway for almost 6, 7, 8, 9 months, gone, all that gone, rings that I had gone, all that stuff gone. And so I was angry because he would do all this and it would hurt. And I remember praying, I was like, God, I said, I would love to have that I bought myself something of value, a piece of jewelry that is of value. I would like to pass it on to my daughters so they can pass it, on to their children one day. And when I went to the conference, it was a friend of mine, Marie, is a friend of mine. We were going through the airport in Maui, waiting for our next flight. And I stopped at the jewelry store that was there. I just wanted to look over. And now keep in mind, I'm not really a big pearl person. But I remember I saw this ring. Isn't it a beautiful ring? I saw this ring. And this is a Tahitian. You guys know this is a Tahitian pearl. From the Polynesian islands, from Tahiti, from that area. But the owner of the shop, I think the shop they've had it open since 1957, but the owner, the person that owned it, their family actually were the ones who dived for the pearls. They dive for the pearls. And then the family handcrafts the jewelry. Look at this. They handcraft the jewelry. So this was handcrafted. This piece was handcrafted. So all this, the filigree looking, they handcraft this. So they dye for the pearl. They handcraft the jewelry. Look at this piece, and then they mount the pearl in there. And then they guarantee their work. So like the pearl fell off and I sent it back. They put it back on for me. But I saw the ring and I kept staring at the ring. And I was like, wow. And I keep in mind, I had prayers to God. I said, I really would love something beautiful, something of value, something that I bought, something I bought, something I'm paying for, or paid for. And so I saw this ring and I just kept looking at it. I said, I tell you what, when I get to Honolulu, I'll just look and see if I can find, because I remember the last time I was there, I remember this jewelry shop that I wanted to go back to and look at the jewelry that was in. It's really pretty jewelry, but I couldn't find it. But this ring was on my mind the whole week that I was there. I just couldn't get the ring out of my mind. I said, you know what? I said, when I fly back, because I have to fly back to Maui, I'm going to stop and see if the ring is there. If the ring is there, I'll get it. And I told them, I said, if I don't find it and I come back, I'll come and get it. So we got there, but we were rushing to get to the plane. And so when I got there, I tried it on again. I said, I want it. And so I want to finance it. I want it. It costs a few thousands of dollars, but I said, I want it. And so we filled out the paperwork. They were waiting. They were making the phone calls. And I had to go because I had to run to the plane. And so I was like, man, I probably won't even get this ring. And that ring's going to be on my mind, So I went down and I was standing in line. So I was getting ready to get on the plane. And the lady comes running down the hall. She comes running down the hall. She brings the paperwork. She says, you signed the paperwork. We're going to get this ring. We're going to get it all together. So, she called me. We talked. We got it all together. And a week later, they sent me this. It was a beautiful bag, a beautiful box and everything. And I remember thinking to myself, he answered my prayer. I wanted something really pretty for myself that I invested in for myself that I can pass down to one of my daughters. And I wanted to get one more piece, for my daughter. For my daughters, I got two daughters, and I got two granddaughters. But I want to be able to pass an heirloom down, and start a legacy. And I thought this piece was just beautiful. But, it made me think like, wow, I have value. I am worth more than this ring right here. I have value. And you guys have to remember that each and every one of you, and that's male and female alike, if you go and speak to a jeweler about a diamond, the most expensive diamonds, if you look up the most expensive diamond in the world, you can't even touch it. It's guarded. Even the queen's, remember the queen's crown, the royal jewels are protected. I mean, they got, when I say protected, I'm talking about ching-ching. They got guards and everything because of that crown and it's so heavy. But these jewels, if you look at the expensive diamonds, but if you ever talk to a jeweler, you'll find out that a diamond, the value of the diamond is when you take that looking piece, I don't know what the glass is called, and you look into the diamond, into the center of the diamond, the more flawed the diamond is, the more expensive the diamond is, the more value the diamond has. Not the aesthetics of the diamond, not the outside, because you can reshape the outside of the diamond, not the aesthetics. But when you look into the diamond, the more flawed the diamond is, the more expensive and the more value that diamond has. And so that says something about you. Don't worry about the aesthetics. You can always, if you have alopecia, if you got hair loss, get a wig, shave your hair off. And most of you guys are beautiful when you do that. Well, I've seen some beautiful women that cut their hair off. I'm like, oh my God, I wonder what my head is shaped like if I did it, But the aesthetics, you big, lose weight. If you can't lose weight, you do what you do, big girl. Go, big girl, go, big girl, go. And men, you got to be comfortable with yourself. The aesthetics, you can dress it, you can put something on it, nice clothes, dress it up, whatever. But the inside, your heart has been broken, your soul has been broken. You've got some experiences, but you're not your experience. You are not your past. And the more flaws, the more scars you have on your heart, when you begin to heal, it just lets you know just how valuable you are. Because there are certain things you're just not going to tolerate. There's certain things that when you finally just find your peace and quiet, and excuse the lights up here, but when you find your peace and you enjoy your peace and you begin to understand your value and you begin to pamper your own self, do little things. And when I come into my house, y'all, it's peaceful in here. I don't have to come in here and then, I got a nervous stomach and I'm on my tippy toes. I don't know how he going to walk in the house, if he in a bad mood, if his side chick done ticked him off, and he coming to take it out on me and the kids, and the cat scared, the fire in the fireplace and went down. I always come in my house, and my house is always peaceful. Unless me and my daughter are in there laughing and joking real loud, my house is always peaceful. When people come in my house, those people that are, you're kind of cautious about falling asleep at people's house. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to, but people come in my house, and they sit in my chair and they go to sleep because my house is peaceful. You come in here, if you wounded, you're going to be at peace. My daughter came, and she went through some things. My daughter came to visit, and she sat down, and she said, because she had been to she had been to Afghanistan. So she has seen a lot of things in Afghanistan. So she really struggled with sleep and nightmares. But I remember when she came to visit, she was like, this is the first time I've been able to sleep. I have not been able to sleep. She was able to sleep in my house. She came back the second time second or third time. She came with my grandson. And she got in my bed. It's funny. Me, the grandkids, all of us in the bed together. Why you can't find your own place to sleep? Why you can't go downstairs and sleep somewhere else? But they wanted to be in the bed with mama, grandma, Nana Pie. That's me, Nana Pie. My friends call me Nana. My babies call me Pie, Nana Pie. So I'm Nana Pie, but they wanted to be in the bed with me. But let me tell you something. She slept. She was at peace. She slept. And my grandson spinning around on his head, have to talk to his grandma. When I finally laid him down, he slept because it's peaceful. And I guard my peace at all times. You guard your peace. And don't you let anything come in and disrupt your peace. You disrupt the disruptor that's trying to come in and break your peace. Because once you get a taste of that peace, there's nothing that you want to do to allow anyone to come into that space. That healing place, that place that you have worked so hard, the place that you yearn for when you were with that narcissist. Because that narcissist is tormented by peace. So they're always going to disrupt the atmosphere. They're always going to disrupt your peace. But when you finally get that peace, you're not going to allow anything and anybody to disrupt that peace. You have value. You are a valuable person. And your experiences, your heartbreaks, I told you before, either you're going to be bitter or you're going to get better. To forgive does not mean that I forget. That's called amnesia. I'll never forget what has happened, but I don't have the sting of that pain anymore. To forgive is I'm going to let you go because I'm not going to allow you to control me or run around rent free in my head anymore. Because every time I think about a situation, it breaks my heart all over again. Every time I think about the situation, I'm angry and bitter and angry with you. And I show an attitude when I talk to you. And so I'm not going to let you have that power. That's what you have to think to yourself. I'm not going to allow you to have that power. I'm not going to allow you to have that much power in my life. I'm going to forgive you. And really, I'm not going to have anything for you. I won't react. You don't scare me. You run in here. And he was the type of person like to get in your face real fast. Talk and get in your face real fast. Or, just show up. He wanted that, what was that reaction effect, that startle effect. And so, he show up now, I'll pay no attention to him. I have to tell him, I don't even come out the door. I'm cordial, I'm nice. But, but that fear, and it wasn't that I was so terrified of him. It was just the anxiety. You have tormented me so much that I walked around anxious all the time. I walked around anxious eating. And I'd gotten big, so I was almost 300 pounds. And I'm a pretty tall girl. I knew how to hide it, but 300 pounds. And it started affecting my back. They wanted to put me in a wheelchair because of the fact that my spine was being affected because I had an injury. It got to about my knees. You guys know what I'm talking about, going up, and I can hear it just, and I was in the military. I ran for many years and carried rucksacks and stuff. But going up the stairs, listen, I heard my knees grinding like, even trying to get on my knees, and I used to cry because took me a lot of effort to get up. And at one point in time, I used to be able to squat, and get down, get up real quick, or, roll over or jump up. Yeah, my body was like, no, you too big. You got too much. It's too much. And so, now I'm blessed. I'm losing weight. I'm feeling healthy. I can breathe. I can sleep at night. I don't feel like I'm being sucked up by my mattress. There's a lot of things you need to do to begin to heal and bring wholeness. Remember, you're a diamond. There's a lot of flaws on the inside of that diamond, but that makes you valuable. Don't sit there. A lot of things that you're thinking about yourself is things that narcissist introduced into your vocabulary. What that narcissist said, they projected their own self-esteem and how they view themselves on you, and you took responsibility of something that had nothing to do with you. You're carrying around the words and the imagery and all the negativity that this narcissist introduced to you to make you feel bad about yourself. And so listen, I just want to come here and tell you guys, you have value, you are worthy, There are people waiting for you to get on your feet. Yes, the pain is excruciating. I went through it and the pain was excruciating. The pain, believe it or not, the pain finally lifted maybe about 2 years ago. And keep in mind, I hadn't been with this person in almost 10 years. I have not been with this person in over 10 years and divorced maybe 7 years. Divorced from him for 7 years. Had not been with him in almost 10 years. In almost 10 years. And the pain finally lifted. You know, that pain and the anger finally lifted maybe like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when I found one day, I felt so much better. And I didn't care. And when I say I didn't care, I mean, I don't care about nothing. I don't have no empathy. No. I stopped caring. I didn't care anymore. You know what? It is what it is. I've learned a great lesson. People are getting a lot of information from me, a lot of revelation from me, a lot of healing from me, because I've been where they are. I've walked some of the same steps that they have walked. I may not have lived your life, may not have had the exact same experience, but, you know, I had the experience. I know what it felt like. I'm processing. You know, I haven't gotten to where I want to be, but I have processed. I am processing. You know, I'm still a work in progress. A work in progress. Yeah, that's it. You know, so be gentle on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself. You can forgive everybody. You know, you have to forgive. You need to forgive. You know, you're going to walk around miserable. You know, them women that you talk to that are man haters now, they've been abused and misused and had bad relationships. So it doesn't matter like what relationship you get in or you meet someone, everybody is bad. All men are dogs. You don't need to trust them, but they pass this information. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about at the conference. I'm going to say funeral, but the conference. You know, I want you guys to go register for my conference. It's July 29th in Los Angeles, California. And it is the Unpackaging Your Trauma Conference. This is the Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. It's Unpackaging Your Trauma Conference. But I'm going to be talking about some of these generational trauma, you know, and how, you know, we have been trained from generation to generation, which really just made us magnets for trauma. You know, some children are living with anxiety, but the anxiety came from the parent. You know, there are some parents that are overprotective, you know, in fear that something's going to happen because it happened to them, and they become even more traumatized. Can PTSD be passed down? Can depression be passed down? You know, what is in the generation? What has been passed down? What has been taught? What about men? You know, especially like our black men, who come from a generation, you know, that has past slavery and you know, segregation. And, you know, what were they taught? You know, what were they taught when it came to protecting their emotions against the master? You know, against being abused and watching their families be torn apart, or watching, you know, their children being snatched away from them. And they had to learn, because some of those people were very, very big narcissists, you know, and they were being taught by their fathers how not to express their emotions, how to show no empathy or show no care in order to protect them from the pain that was being inflicted on them, so that the people that was inflicting the pain didn't know if they were hurt or not. You know, and they had, oh my gosh, and they suffered. So what has been some of the messages or some of the directions that has been passed on from generation to generation to generation that we're still seeing happening right now? You know, what about that childhood sexual trauma? That's, you know, some of you guys have been traumatized. Some of you guys were traumatized as children, sexually violated, you know, abused and misused by the person that was supposed to be protecting you, your mother or your father. You know, and those were the people that were, how did you go out into the world and how did you attract narcissists? You know, how for some people that have low empathy, that doesn't mean that you're a narcissist. You have low empathy to protect yourself. You know, you had low empathy. You would not stick your feet in other people's shoes to see what they felt. You had low empathy because you knew that every time you did it, you'd be hurt, because you would try to do it with the narcissist and it didn't work. So we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. I have a lot of speakers there that are excellent. Myself, my sister, Bishop Kathy Gibson, Apostle Helen Sadler, Dr. Paula Tucker, who is actually a traumatic brain injury researcher. And she's going to talk to you about some traumatic brain injury concerning abuse and narcissist abuse. and then my sister, Bridget Gibson, who is a domestic violence advocate. How is this trauma being reciprocated in the courtroom? How are these victims being re-victimized? How are some of you guys being re-victimized? And then that is general session. But then when we move on to VIP, those that pay for VIP, we're going to have a formal dinner. So all of us are going to be bougie. We're going to put on our formal wear. We're going to have a formal dinner. And you're going to have, my guests are going to be Tasha Leland and Telsha with the T on MPD. And we're going to do a round table, and we want to hear your stories. You're going to have an opportunity to interact with us because we're going to be talking to you directly. And we're going to carry on this conversation. And listen, if anybody's been to any of my conferences, or if you've ever heard my mom talk, we are very raw. She's very raw dog. She's raw. And we're going to keep it real. We're going to talk about the different types of sexual abuse, and then we're even going to talk, I'm going to talk about, the trauma of having to come to terms with how you have responded to that sexual abuse, the types of sexual abuse, the promiscuity that goes along with it, the problems with self-identity that goes along with that. Not only with the self-identity, but also a lot of times the problems with the sexual identity, but having problems with your sexuality. There are many people that are in the LGBTQ community, LGBTQ plus A plus community. Please forgive me if I messed that up. And if you actually talk, not all of them. Now keep in mind, not all of them. It's not general, but a lot of them who have been sexually molested, sexually violated. And they'll tell you, I don't ever want anything to do with the opposite sex. Never. And they'll tell you their stories and why. And we're going to talk about it because I'm very detailed. And I'm going to be very detailed down to the T. When I say detail, just be prepared. Bring your napkins. You can cover your ears if you're in there because I'm going to be raw about it. Listen, I'm going to talk about stuff that your mama won't even talk to you about. Okay. Some of your mamas will talk to you about it. But some things that you need to hear in detail, that you need to hear. We're going to be using those descriptive words. And so I really want you guys to be there because those that are going to be at VIP, you're going to have the round table. So you're going to have Apostle Sadler. She's going to do her table talk. And we're going to talk about some topics. We're going to open you up. Listen, this is that trauma conference that you want to come to, unpackaging your trauma. A lot of you say, oh, your videos help and I feel so much better. It's different when you're in person because we're going to touch that very sensitive part in you. We're going to open you up and we're going to go in and we're going to touch those sensitive spots that you didn't want nobody to touch. Some of you guys just go ahead and invest because if you think you healed now, wait till you come to the conference because we're going to talk about some stuff you have not been able to talk about. We're going to love on you. We're going to hug you. We're going to come sit next to you. You get to smell the strong perfume that we wear. So if you got allergy, bring your allergy medication, bring your Flonase, whatever you need to bring, because we are heavy perfumers. But listen, we're going to come talk to you, but we're going to get to the root of the problem. We're going to touch some things that are uncomfortable for you. We're going to say some things that you never thought was going to be said, and it may trigger you. So I want you to be prepared. When you come to this conference, you may be triggered. So I want you to be prepared. As a disclaimer, you might be triggered. Some of you will be triggered, but I want you to be triggered into, sometimes you have to trigger a person in order to bring out what it is that needs to come to the surface. If those of you that know about the Bible and you know about gold, they take fine metals or what is it? I think they call fine metals like gold or silver, and they put it in the hot water or boil it or whatever they do. They melt it. But when they melt it, all the impurity starts coming out of the metal. And you want pure gold. You don't want something that's infected with impurities. So all those impurities start coming out. But it takes a lot of heat for the impurities to come out. Well, I want you to think of this conference as we're going to bring some of those impurities to the surface. But if we don't ever trigger you, you never know. And don't be afraid of the triggers. When you are triggered and it comes up, triggers are just indicators letting you know that these are areas, unhealed areas that you need to address. That's what triggers are. But you're going to be in a safe environment. You're going to be in a controlled environment. You're going to be around people that know what they're doing and know what to say to you. And the thing is that we want you to be triggered. Those triggers are an indicator that that's an area in your life that needs healing. And this is what my conference is all about. July 29th, Unpackaging Your Trauma Conference in Los Angeles, California. Go to overcomingnarcissistabuse.ticketleap.com, and I will make sure I put it up underneath I'm gonna just put the Ticket Leap thing, so you guys can click on it. But It's at the Sonesta Hotel right at LAX Airport. Now, the room link, I'll put the room link up for you guys as soon as I get it. I have it, I just got to find it. But you get your room while you're there, and you just pay for the tickets. And those of you in general sessions, what we're going to do for lunch, we're going to dismiss, and all of us are going to go and eat because the hotel has some restaurants. We're going to go eat. We'll go eat somewhere together within the hotel. And then for the VIP is going to be served dinner that evening because it is a formal event. And you'll have my guests that are on the panel already. And then you have the extra guests, the 2 extra guests, special guests, which is Tasha Leland, The Confessions of a Christian Girl, and my friend Telsha with the T on NPD. Well, both of my friends. And Telsha with the T on NPD. If you guys love her, she's going to be there. You're going to hear her laugh. You're going to hear her walk around and talk to you. Listen, you don't want to miss this. And then for those of you that would like to come out to Chicago, Apostle Helen Sadler is going to have a conference in Chicago, Illinois from the 11th to the 14th. So the 11th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The 11th, 12th, and 13th is the conference. And the 14th, we're doing a tour of the city. And then we're checking out at the hotel on Tuesday. So the hotel, so the price that you see on hers is going to cover Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday with the checkout from the hotel on Tuesday, unless you have to check out earlier. On Tuesday checkout, you provided lunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Lunch will be provided. Breakfast and dinner, you'll be on your own, but lunch will be provided. So that is the price. That is all inclusive in the price. If you go to, it is destinyhelper.ticketleap.com and make sure you register for her conference. But if you hang with us, we travel all across the nation. So we may be in a city near you, but you take advantage because a lot of times the topics are not the same. Every year the topics change because there's a theme that runs, through the ministry, through the conferences. It runs through the year. And you can always see the buildup. And so, a lot of times we wonder why we're struggling with certain things. And because it's a buildup of what is to come, the healing process that is to come. And hers is each process leads to freedom. So it's a process. It's a process. And listen, you guys don't want to miss either one of those conferences. They're phenomenal. You don't want to miss it. But I'm hoping to see you guys out there at LAX, in Los Angeles, California at the Sonesta at LAX. Remember, this is a ticketed event. You have to purchase your tickets online. You cannot come to the conference and expect to get in. And please don't come over there looking for me to come out there and talk to you in the middle of the conference. But the conference, you cannot get tickets at the door. You're going to have to get online. If those of you that can't come out there, Zoom is available. So you got general session, VIP, and Zoom is available. And for those of you that are waiting for me to send you the information on the Zoom, usually a week before the conference start, I send you all the link, the login, and everything. And I will not forget you. My camera cut off while I was talking. It overheated. But listen, I got some things that I'm working on. I know the course. You guys are waiting for the course in reference to parenting. I'm still working on that. That's taking me a minute. What I may have to do is I may have to break it down in increments and offer to you guys in increments. But I do have another class, a course that's coming up at the end of the month. And I should have the flyer out tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow I have the flyer because I have to make sure that I have the right dates on there because we have a lot of things going on in the ministry as well because we've been on the road and traveling. And so I just got to make sure that the date that I want to do it, because I want to do it on the 29th, which is Saturday, like at 12 o'clock. Pacific Standard Time, so that you guys can participate. And the course that I'm doing, the regular price is $99. When I post it, it's $99, but I'm gonna give it to you guys at a discounted rate of $60. Now, if you join, this is the course only, and I'm doing it live on Zoom. And so the normal price of this course is $99, but I'm gonna offer it for $60. And then what I'll do is, but this is without question and answers, so you guys won't be able to ask any questions. The chat will not be on for Zoom. This is the course only. Those of you that pay $99 will be able to do the course. And then after the course is over, everyone that just did the course will be, excused off of the course. And then you guys will have an opportunity to do question and answers with me, and we'll discuss what it was. And what it is I'm going to be talking about grief and loss. The grief and loss, and the pain that you're having to go through from the loss of the relationship, the betrayal of the relationship. And we're going to talk about the 7 stages of grief and loss and how it applies, where you're at. So right now I'm putting together like some work pages, some workbook pages, so that you guys can follow along and we can do the work while we're doing it. But we're also going to be looking at what stage are you in, you know, and how to process through the grief and loss, how to process through those stages. And so give me until tomorrow, because I was working on the flyer at work and I had to leave. So I should have the flyer out tomorrow so that you guys can go and register for this course. Also, if you register for the course, those of you that register for the course, if you do VIP, trying to think, yeah. If you guys do VIP, I'm going to give you a discount on the conference. So if you guys sign up for VIP, so remember, the course is regularly $99, but I'm going to give it to you guys for $60 if you do it live. So live course, $60, but this does not mean there's no question and answers. There's no chat that's available. This is the course only, the teaching only. If you do VIP, which is the question and answer is the course, and the question and the answers, which is $99, where you get one-on-one time. Try it again. If you do the $99 course and the question and the answer, I'm going to give you a discount on the tickets for the conference. So I need you guys to sign up for this course. I have the links available tomorrow and the flyer available tomorrow with all the course information. So you guys give me till tomorrow, okay? And I want you guys to have a wonderful evening. My phone kept heating up, so it kept turning the phone off. But I want you guys to have a wonderful evening. Know that I am thinking about you. Think about what I said today in this video, okay? And you guys have a marvelous, wonderful time, and go be great.